Hey guys, this is Amit
And this is Adi.
and welcome back to our channel.
So guys, today's topic is bullying. I wouldn't say we are very excited to talk about this, but we feel it's very important to address this. So
Yeah, let's just get into it.
So guys, before we get into today's topic, I would like to thank everyone who subscribed to our channel, and it's been great, all the love that we're getting. But for all those who still haven't subscribed, I would request you guys to please subscribe and
Please
hit
do
the bell icon. Back in the day, I'm talking about literally 25 years, 26 years ago, schools were great, education system has been great, it's still improving, but I think the topic of bully was kind of swept under the carpet as to you grow up, you're boys, you're just rough as kids, and you just go to school and that's pretty much it. You just develop a thick skin and you move on, and that has been the norm.
You know, I think it's more difficult for kids actually these days because of
Yeah.
social media, and even young kids are on social media,
Yep.
and there's a lot more. You can target someone if you
Yes.
wanted to a
Yes.
little easier. So I know many kids who have fallen into depression, or they just are scared to be themselves because of things that people have said to them.
So I've never said it, but I think growing up, I was tagged as the more feminine kid in the school because, and I think I was. I mean, that was also because I have always been in touch with my feminine side, and right now I feel proud in saying that. I don't feel ashamed like back in the day I used to. I think that kind of put me in the spotlight, and people used to pick on me. In instances like I couldn't walk to the water fountain to get a sip of water without people shoving me against the doors, pushing me around, pinching me, or just calling me names. So I used to sit in the class alone when everyone else went out to play. Not like I liked sports. I've never been the sports guy, but I think this had to do something with it. And I would always sit in the first bench in the class because I never had the courage to go 3 or 4 desks behind and sit, because those kids used to sit there and then they would pick on me during the class. Similarly, I used to finish my lunch and water break before everyone else started, so I don't have to face them when I'm walking to the water fountain. And I used to leave school half an hour later than everyone did, just so that I can avoid the crowd at the gate when I'm exiting. The fact that many people think that it's only big, tall boys who rough other people up, no, it's everyone. Kids growing up have the equal capacity of bringing someone down as much as they have of bringing someone up. So it was both boys and girls. I'm glad there was no difference of gender there, not in a good way though. I had a great childhood and great schooling, and it was great. I had a good set of friends, but this was going on in parallel. So this life where I would be bullied was something which I didn't talk about, because what would kids say? Everyone's gonna laugh at me, or maybe back home my relatives and parents would be like, oh, this happens to everyone.
The thing is, like, social circumstances shape you for the rest of your life.
That should be a tagline.
Like, I don't really remember like my math test that I took, but I do remember how I felt when people called me certain names or when they said certain things. And that you carry that baggage with you forever. I feel like talking about what is said and how it makes you feel versus just being
very important.
This person called me a name. Okay, well, now you have to talk about what you felt when someone called you that name, because that's more important really than like attacking the other person. It's more like, this is now affecting me.
So guys, that was my story. It wasn't that cheerful and happy, but I'm happy I got to share it with all of you. And now I am ready to hear Amit's story.
Yeah, I mean, I think growing up, when I look back, I'm like, it was great, it was normal, and I had no problems. I had lots of friends. There's always some people that say things, when you're growing up. But I remember so many times, and I think it's the same thing. It's like there's effeminate qualities that maybe it's a stigma, maybe it is something that many gay men face, or women, they have traits that are unlike other people.
Right.
So I think I think those things were always pointed out when I was growing up. It's funny because nowadays, of course, I'm into the arts, I love creative stuff. But when I remember when I used to play soccer, I loved it actually, and because I love running. But till this day, I'm a little bit scarred by how people treated me on during a game, or if I made a mistake, or if I wasn't that great, and then obviously then on top of that, they're saying, hey, you're also like, you're not a typical boy. Like the way they make you, the things that they say are like, just make you feel like you're not a real boy. And then you're like, okay, well then I'm just not going to do this anymore, right? Because when you're that young, what do? You just run away from it. I can't even remember now what happened 10, 15 years ago for me to talk about it now. But I know that there's things that affect me because I know when I'm like hesitating to talk to certain people, or I think a certain way, or I'm maybe self-conscious or things like that. So, overcoming something like that is definitely difficult. So if you have the right people around.
Yep, I would say then don't become a victim, tackle it and be a survivor. And I think that's the message. It's very important for parents to actually tell the kids and schools to establish a system where they know that if a boy doesn't want to play soccer and he wants to go into dancing, that's okay. And that's not something which only girls do. I think this message has to be put out there. And if similarly a girl wants to go do kickboxing and doesn't want to sit and sew something, that's okay.
These things actually affect me even today because I guess I have borderline trust issues because I never really believe what someone says on the surface is true. Which
I've seen
I never want to be like that because there's so many great people out there. Even my closest friends, you get so much love from people. At the same time, you're always there's like just like a little bit of it that you're like,
is that really real?
I feel like times are changing slowly, and I do think kids these days are a lot more mature than they were back in the day. Like they have an understanding for things, and like when we told my nieces and nephews about us, they were like, so what?
They were like, we know,
like it's not even a big deal. All of the kids, I teach a lot of kids on a daily basis. Like no one feels uncomfortable about any of this stuff. So I think there's a positive outlook on that.
Definitely.
Things will change, but I think the main thing is like neither of us actually talked to our parents, went home, and we never really talked to our parents about these issues.
That's something the kids needs to learn now, at least now, that vocalize it, say it out loud. There is no shame in it. If you're being bullied, just don't stay with it and keep it internal.
I think bullying happens even in the workplace. It's not just in school. And maybe it's not called bullying, right? Maybe it's called stereotyping, or maybe it's called other things.
Right. No, but whatever the reason is, whatever the situation is, reach out to someone for help. If you are that person to whom someone else reached out for help, please help them out and give them the confidence that it's okay to stand up against bullying and take a stand. Because it's high time that we all realize that this is not a joke anymore. This is not boys playing rough anymore.
Or girls
playing rough anymore. This is a very serious issue. Cyberbullying, bullying in school, bullying outside in public, bullying in workplaces. This needs to stop. So guys, that was a little bit what we went through growing up. There are tons of other stories which we have, but this is what it revolved around. We would like to give a few tips to anyone who is currently facing bullying or has before, or if you're someone who knows someone who is facing bullying. First thing would be speak about it to
anyone. I mean, friend, parents, guidance counselor.
So guys, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon.
And also share your stories with us in the comment section. We would love to hear things that you've gone through, and we would love to keep that conversation going.
Yes. On that note, this is Adi.
This is Amit.
Good night.